Daily Podcast. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Podcast. I am your host, Marie Eve Nadine Jean Baptiste, and I am live today with another dear friend and colleague of mine, Miss Bonnie Lonardo, who practices in Las Vegas, Nevada. Hi, Bonnie.
Hi.
Thank
Hi,
you so much
everyone.
for thank you for being here with me today. So yesterday we had Pam on, and we talked about how we met, and we actually opened with the meeting that we had in Jersey in March of 2020.
That's right.
And I didn't even realize, like, we're all so close and so close knit. I didn't even realize that Pam wasn't there, but you were there.
Yes, that's when we met. Yeah, New Jersey. Remember, that's when the COVID had started, and we were all flying in New Jersey to New
Yeah.
York.
And we were all just like happy go lucky, right? Just to see each other and kind of be in that space. And it was the marketing for the masters,
Mhm.
Allison's program, and
Yeah,
we were just like having a ball,
it was.
and I think I don't know if you made it, but we had like that evening schedule, and then we had the next 2 days, I believe it
Mhm.
was. Yeah, it was that weekend. So it was really nice. But anyway, I've known you for some time now.
Mhm.
We bonded over some crazy stories, and we've shared lots of them. Yes, over the years. So I'm just really excited to have you on. Like me, you practice family law. And I don't know, tell us a little bit about yourself before we do a deep dive of, who you are and what your firm represents and everything.
Sure. So I am a mother of three and a grandma of four. That is my pride and joy. And I started practicing law in 2003. And when I went to law school, my intention was to go to law school to practice criminal law. And that has not been my path. That was the reason why I went, but it did not lead me there. So I worked for creditors attorney firm, and I was doing foreclosure defense for the banks. That's where I really got my feet wet in mediation, something I never touched in law school at all. I never thought I was interested in that. And it turned out that I was a really good fit for mediation, and I really enjoyed it. I met a lot of attorneys in town. I met a lot of different people. And so I did that for a few years. And then I decided that because I was a prior business owner, that I wanted to do that again. And so I decided I wanted to open up a firm. And I began opening my firm with the intention of now I'm going to represent the homeowners and try to save their homes from foreclosures. That's when I started my firm. And family law just kind of found me. That's how it began, and that's where I am now. And I'm really happy with family law. I think it's a niche for me because family is so important to me, having my kids and my grandkids, and I just think that I'm able to relate with the clients a little bit more in that respect. And so it just seemed to be a fit. Not what I was looking for, but there you have it.
And I completely understand that. And it's funny because, like you, I remember when I was in law school, I was like, okay, I'm going to do the whole criminal law thing. And then I read I'll never forget, I read like a death penalty case for constitutional criminal procedure.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, calling a friend of mine. It was like 11 o'clock. I was crying. Like, how could they put someone to death? And I was just like, yeah, this is not my area. My family, makes jokes sometimes about, oh, you've been in school forever. Next thing you know, you're going to, go to school to be a judge. And I'm like, yeah, no. Because
Yeah.
under me, everybody is going free, right? Because I'm all about the touchy feely, and I want to know, excuse me, why you did what you did. So that doesn't always work.
Yep. Exactly.
But I love the fact that, you talk about family law and mediation. How often in your practice do you find yourself kind of utilizing mediation as a service for, helping your cases move forward?
Quite a bit, actually. Family law is very contentious, right? And everybody comes in arguing, otherwise it wouldn't be here, right? But my goal in my firm and my team's goal, because it is our mission, is to try to settle our family cases as amicably, as quickly, and as painlessly as possible, right? So what we always try to do with our cases is try to come to a middle ground and try to avoid litigation as much as possible. I would say that we are successful probably 80 to 85% of the time. And so we push for that. I would like to have that be a higher percentage, but I think that it helps the clients. It's an emotional time. It's emotional tolling. It's financially expensive if you drag it out and go to trial. And a lot of the cases, in my opinion, I don't believe a lot of the family cases need trial. I
Mm-hmm.
think that if we come in there with a good faith in trying to resolve these issues, because at the end of the day, these parents are going to be together for a long time. The kids are going to be in their lives forever, and they're going to have to relate to each other in one way or another for life. So I try to impart that in my clients. And like I said, most of the time, 85% of the times, I think it does work. And they realize, it's better to go that route.
Yeah, and I think, when you take the emotions out of it,
Hmm.
our clients are able to see a lot clearer. I
Yeah.
don't care what country you live in, what gender, what color, what socioeconomic status, we all have emotions. And all of our family law cases, I believe, collectively are all the same.
Yes.
When you bring in, anger, resentment, all sorts of, crazy stuff. And I don't want to call it crazy stuff because our emotions are not crazy, but people come to us to be rational. They come to us to kind of be that middle ground. So I love that, like myself, you try to avoid litigation, like a lot of other attorneys that we know.
Yes.
Um, Thankfully, I don't know too many attorneys, that try to, push that narrative of let's fight. Now, I know you stated that, you've been an attorney basically for over 10 years. Do you
Mhm.
find that, and I know, um, we're more familiar with each other outside of this, right? So I know some of these answers already, but for the people that don't know you, I think that they would really benefit, from some of your answers. So do you find that, given that you've been practicing for so long, do you find that you're kind of, um, I don't want to say desensitized, but just, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, do you find that you're a bit desensitized and kind of like removed from the situation a little easier, or are you still kind of like, fresh attorney, go, go, go with?
It's interesting you say that because we do this in and out every day, and we have a tendency to forget that our clients do not do this on a daily basis, right? And so we have a meeting. I try to have a meeting with my team about once a month to make sure that we go back to our foundation, to our fundamentals, to what is important. Our clients are going through the most devastating time in their lives when they come to see us, right? We do this on a daily basis. And so sometimes, yes, it becomes to be routine, right? I need this document, send me this, send me that. And we forget sometimes what it's about. So I do make an effort to try to distance myself from being emotionally attached to the cases, because you have to, at the end of the day. You've got so many people with so many emotions, and self-care is important when you practice in law, especially family law, I think. So we all need to take breathers. I give my team time to refresh as well, because they deal with the clients on a daily basis, and it is emotional for us to go through the emotional roller coaster with our clients. So yeah, we all need that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And you touched up on something that, I'm learning. Unfortunately, I hate to admit that I'm learning now, years into practice, that self care is kind of paramount. What are ways that you try to kind of disconnect and recharge?
Um, I think that I'm a big travel bug. I love to travel, but with COVID, it's been kind of, it's kind of stunted, right? But I go to, like, I have my morning rituals that I do that help me quite a bit, right? I start my day with my gratitude journal. I just
Mhm.
write down every morning. I do my meditation in the morning, right? So that really sets my tone for the day. And so I go throughout the day with that. some days I need 2 or 3 meditations, okay? Really short ones to kind of center. But to just kind of refresh, I think I do a lot of family time. I spend a lot of time with my grandkids, my children, and I have a second home
Mhm.
that I go to, right? To kind of a different perspective, a different location tends to help some too.
Yes, I know, Miss. I'm in Colombia right now. I
Really?
remember I remember when we first talked about it. I was like, take me with you.
Yes. It's I end up working more hours here, believe it or not, because of the time change, right? Because my office opens 3 hours later than what I am right now. So I start working earlier and then I'm working later. But the change in the scenery, sitting out looking at the beach, that really does ground you. It does help you. And so it is helpful. It's very helpful.
Yeah. Now, and I know, we talked about Colombia, geez, several months ago, and you've been there for some time right now. What made you decide to kind of, change your scenery?
Well, I think that I decided before COVID began that I wanted to transition my firm into a virtual firm. I Prior to that, I was doing a lot of intake calls and client calls. I gave the clients options whether to come in person or to do it by the telephone. And I found that most clients wanted the telephone because it was easier, quicker. They didn't have to drive to me. And so that led me to a aha moment, right? I thought, well, when I want to make appointments, if I can do something on the telephone versus getting in the car, driving there and doing it for 15, 30 minutes, I prefer to do it on the phone. So I began to kind of rethink it. So then I thought, okay, let me see what would happen if I started doing more virtual phone calls, I mean, virtual meetings as opposed to in person. And I found that most of my clients really, really appreciated it and liked that. So I transitioned slowly to virtual. I went paperless, which was really difficult for me because I'm old school. I could not even imagine a day where I would not be able to have a physical piece of paper in my hand when it came
Right.
to a case. That was like the hardest part for me. So I found that when I began that process, it was easier than I thought it would be. And the clients appreciated, most of the clients, I'm going to say not all. There are clients like myself who are old school and want to be in person and want to um, touch and feel the paper and be there physically. So for that, I do have a physical office, but the transition for virtual was just I think it was precipitated by the fact that the clients chose telephone calls versus in person, and that just led me to kind of rethink everything. And so with that, it gave me freedom, right, to be able to work from anywhere. And like I said, I love traveling. So I take my laptop, that is my life, that's my business right there, and I can do work from anywhere. And then COVID came along and it kind of helped that a bit because now people and the courts are more comfortable with now doing virtual hearings, which I always complained about. Having to go to court for a 10-minute hearing was ridiculous to me. So now I thought this is fabulous. Now the clients save money, the clients save time. We don't have to bill for the travel, for the time that it takes to wait in the courtroom. So it helps everyone. I was just thankful that I was already set up when the shift happened. So it was very good.
I'm so glad you mentioned the 10-minute hearing because I can't tell you how many times, we've talked about having to travel, 20, 30, 40 minutes. In some cases, when I first started practicing, I was driving an hour and a half to Southern Maryland because it
Hmm.
was, you take what you can get and you get there and it's 10 minutes,
Yes.
and in
Yes.
some cases, oh, we reset this. You didn't get the notice in time. I'm sorry, but you got to leave and come back.
Mm.
And our goal as a firm has always been to try to save the client's money. So when that happened, it was huge for us. And we made sure that the client understood, okay, listen, this is a benefit that you're going to see immediately,
Mhm.
because charging $300 to $600 to have to travel, it's not going to be on your bill, and when Our state is a little different than yours. Your state doesn't have as many hearings as we do. We have the scheduling conference, we have scheduling conference, we have temporary hearings, whether it's for support or alimony. We might have a motions hearing to determine whether or not there's a best interest, there's a modification required here. So there's a material change in circumstance. I'm sorry. There's so many different hearings that we can have that ultimately, the savings really do rack up. So I'm so glad you mentioned that. Now, I remember when we talked some time ago, you stated that you're hiring right now for your office. Is that still the case? And what are you looking for?
Yes, I am hiring. I have a fabulous team, and I know that a lot of people say that, but I actually have one of the best teams. And 90% of my team, 99% of my team are virtual. Everyone's virtual. And so we communicate quite a bit. But I want an attorney, a bilingual Spanish speaking attorney that will be in my physical office in Las Vegas. I would love to find that unicorn. It seems like it's very difficult to find. I need that. And I think that is to facilitate the clients that want to come in, that want to see someone in the office, since I'm back and forth a lot. And also that attorney then will be able to also make the necessary court appearances if and when we should go back to in-person hearings.
Yeah, you'll definitely need that. And I understand, the importance of having someone bilingual. I'm like almost trilingual, and I know you are too. So it's very important to have someone, and I don't, I am not that confident in my Spanish to be able to explain what a marital settlement agreement is, So I actually have someone that I work with who's been, doing my interpretations, and that has just been, it's been amazing. It's been amazing.
Yes.
So having that person also be an attorney, I think will be, really kick ass, in your situation. Now, as far as your client base, you only work on family law situations, right? You don't take any other types of cases?
I'll take a few bankruptcy Chapter 7s here and there, and
Okay.
I am still open to take any sort of foreclosure defense, but that is kind of on the background right now as the situation doesn't demand it. But because I have that experience and because I know the ins and outs of it, I still leave it available for clients who might need that in the future.
Yeah. And I can appreciate the foreclosure defense. I'd rather be on that side than be the person trying to take away someone's home. But
Yes.
that's just my own personal preference.
Yes,
right?
I tell you, yeah.
Yeah. So do you find that, well, I mean, realistically, I guess it really depends, right? Because with COVID, there was that moratorium on foreclosures that we have. So, and I believe that ended recently.
Yes.
So, you're going to see a huge influx of cases.
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure that when that happens, your phone is going to be ringing off the hook. As for your fee structure, and I know you and I kind of dabbled in this, so we both went flat fee. You were flat fee before me, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to give this a try, and I bombed terribly, terribly. You, Star, and Pam know how bad I bombed, because realistically, I didn't know what I was doing. I prefer to have a flat fee structure because at least my client knows what he or she is walking into. And so I don't think that I was really prepared for some cases that unfortunately flat fee is just not a fit for, right? Because there are just some cases that flat fee works in, out, boom. Works for, and then there are some cases where unfortunately you might have to do kind of like a quasi flat and hourly situation. Are you still flat fee?
I am flat fee in some cases. For example, like the joint petitions where there's an agreement, like the BKs and the foreclosure, and like prenuptial agreements, postnuptial agreements. But I found, like you, that family law cases are so fluid and they're so heated and they can turn on a dime that it's difficult to have a flat fee, at least for me, I attempted it, and it just did not work for every case.
Yeah.
So depending on the case, I just I don't do that. But my retainer is a standard retainer that lends itself to a possible flat fee, if that makes sense, right? The retainer is such that I have a retainer where I give the clients an option to pay half of the retainer as soon as they sign up, and half the second month if needed. So if we don't settle the case and if we don't come to an agreement, then there's no need for that second retainer payment. And then it kind of works out as a flat fee.
Okay. And
Okay.
how often do you find that the cases tend to settle when you give clients that option, which I think is a really good option. And Pam and I talked about this the other day. Our retainer, our goal is to have the retainer kind of be it, right?
Mhm.
So like you said, ultimately it lends itself to a flat fee situation. So how
Right.
often do you settle in, like, that first month or two?
I wish I can tell you that it was more than not, but it's turned out to be not so often. Uh,
Okay.
it
Okay.
hasn't turned out to be that way, but the second payment in the retainer then tends to be where the case is settled.
Yeah.
So in that respect, yes, the second payment of the retainer, yes, most of the cases are settled there, unless then we have a trial. But normally we get them to settle right at that second one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, outside of, being in Colombia and just traveling, like, what is your favorite thing to kind of just do outside of lawyering? So I don't think we spend, enough time, and, I can hear my business coach telling me, when was the last time you did something for you? So I'm going to ask you that question. When was the last time you did something for you?
Tell you I'm guilty of that. I'm so guilty of that because I am such a workaholic, right? So the only time that I really get away from work is when I am involved with my grandkids and my kids. So, for example, being in Colombia, my kids just moved here permanently. They just uprooted their family and moved here. So I have been very involved with trying to get them situated in a new country, getting my grandkids in school, going to signing them up for soccers and ballet and getting them involved. And so that is when I find joy. That's when I really like unplug, right, so to speak, because I'm focused on that. But for me personally, I think I've been dying to learn how to golf. I love golfing.
Aw.
Dying to go and join like a women's golf club, and I've yet to do that. I've been talking about this for 2 years, so maybe this is the year. I'm not sure, right? Um, but yeah, that's something I think I would really, really enjoy. My husband is an avid golfer, and I don't want to golf with him.
Okay.
He's too good. He's too good. I can't do it. But I think I would have a great time with just women beginners, right? And just have a group of women that we could just go. We could drink margaritas, drink mimosas, and golf. That's my kind of golfing, right? My
So
husband's too.
really, you want to drink mimosas, but while doing that, you might want to dabble in the golf.
I want to golf while I'm enjoying a little bit of beverage. Yes.
Okay. I am not. I don't want to say I'm not a fan of golfing. I've actually golfed before, but gosh, I don't remember how many years it's been. I am not an outside person, as you know. I'm more of a, sit inside away from the bugs, but I totally get it. When was the last time that you went on a trip other than to Colombia? Like, when was the last time you actually took a really good trip that you felt, okay, I can come back to my clients and I can feel, rested?
I think it was right before COVID, and we
Yeah.
went on a cruise. I love cruises.
Mhm.
So we went on a cruise and we did the Mexican Riviera cruise. We did that, and it was amazing. That was a great time. Now, I do have a trip planned, so something that I decided I was going to push for. I'm going to
Okay.
Scotland in May, the beginning
Oh,
the
you're
end.
gonna have a good time. You can have a good time. I
I'm
was
going.
there for a month. Yeah, in
Everybody that
2015.
I talked to says it's fabulous, so I am excited to go there, and that is the time when I will literally unplug for a week and a half. I never unplug, but this will be I'm not going to take a phone call. I'm not going to take an email. this will be interesting because I've never done that before. So
I think unplugging for us is very difficult though.
yeah.
And about a month ago, I went to Aruba and I was like, okay, I'm here for 4 days and I'm supposed to be, becoming one with the universe again and kind of like finding my Zen. And, my assistant said that they wouldn't bother me. And I tried not to send out emails. I really, really did. Camille is smiling because she knows that she got several emails from me during that time. And I remember, my mom was like, what are you doing? I was like, listen, it's just 5 minutes, just 5 minutes.
I relate. I think we all can relate. Family law or just attorney business owners. It's very difficult to unplug. You have to like always be checking emails. What's going on? Was this taken care of? Did this client call back? I mean, it's so hard, but it is so needed. We need to really, really work on pushing ourselves to do that. And
Yeah.
I envy those attorneys who do it, who are able to push themselves to do it. So really, I'm really, really looking forward to this trip because I'm leaving my computer at home and that's going to kill me. I'm not going to take it. That's the only way I'll be able to unplug.
I think those attorneys that have done it, we know several attorneys, who are doing it.
Yeah.
I think they've cracked the code,
Yes.
and my thing is I need the formula ASAP,
Yes.
because I'm always thinking about my clients. I am always thinking about my clients. They're constantly at the forefront of my mind. It's just like you said, as business owners, this is what we do. But realistically, and I think that there's a narrative that is pushed. Like if you look at the motivational videos, I think there's this narrative that, you have to, work until you can't work anymore. And even then keep working, and I took that literally, because when I first opened, I was working from, 7 a.m. I would get into the office at 7:15, which I still do to this day, but I wouldn't leave until 8, 9 o'clock. And I would do that every single day. And I remember the first time I left, I think it was at like 4:30, 5 o'clock. One of the attorneys here, Christine Holansky, she was like, "Where are you going?" It's like home. Because they just got so used to me. Like I was in the office so late, the cleaners would come in. Hi, Marie. Hi, can I have your basket? I'm like, oh, no, I got it. Let me just throw it away. I'll do it for you. You need help? Like I was in there helping cleaners clean. Yeah. That's how late I was in the office.
No, I can totally relate to that. My poor team, I told you they're virtual and I work crazy hours. So at 3 a.m, I'm sending emails and messages to the team. And I have to preface it with, this is not meant for you to answer right now. This is meant for when you come in the morning. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so they are used to this 2:30, 3 o'clock emails from me, but it's not, I don't think it's something to be proud of, really. I think it's something that will wear you down. And if you're not healthy, you can continue to serve your clients. And I have to remind myself of that. I have to find, like you said, break that code and find that happy medium where I can serve my clients, but yet make sure that I take care of myself as well.
Yeah, one thing that, I think a lot of us should do differently in 2022 is maybe take less clients. Because I think taking less clients, will help, because ultimately you have less deadlines and less chaos that you have to tend to. But of course, it's easier said than done. Because, when someone needs help, our goal is to want to help everyone, right? But realistically, we have to help ourselves first.
Exactly.
And I think that's a great note to end on. I know I only have you for 30 minutes. I don't want to keep you. Thank you so much for joining me today. And, every month, I look forward to our calls.
Yes.
Man, it's just so much. You are crushing it.
Thank
Like
you. Thank you.
you are crushing it. And when we first talked about how much you were crushing it, I think I was more excited than you. You know, like it's my business.
Yes. But listen, you know what? I look forward to those calls because I always, you especially, give so much in those calls. I always walk away with something else. Marie, wait, what did you say about that? And what do I do this? And let's talk about that and let's implement that. It's always beneficial. I miss the calls when we have missed them a few times, but I enjoy those calls. They are very helpful. And I really do encourage attorneys listening, if there are attorneys listening today, to formulate, to get a group of women attorney business owners to do that with monthly. It is so beneficial. The coaching is fabulous, but aside from the coaching, I think this gives us a lot more as well.
And it really, really does, because, you know, one of the things we bonded on is, you know, being new business owners, right? And kind of figuring out how to navigate, because it's one thing if you're working with someone directly who can tell you what to do and how to do it. We don't have that. You know, we're kind of formulating our own blueprints.
Right.
You know, so when we meet each month, it's just amazing. And I love that you just encourage people to do the same, because I think it is so invaluable to have that group of individuals that you just learn from, because the four of us are in 3 different states.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're talking Florida, Nevada, and Maryland. And none of our processes look the same when it comes to court work. But we all have our own businesses. And so what we've been able to do is kind of tell each other, okay, this is what we're implementing. By the way, this is what didn't work, so don't do it. And that's kind of what we've done for the better of, almost three years now.
Yeah.
And we started this, building our systems,
That's right.
from Allison's group. Yeah, we started at building our systems, and we created this, ginormous Google spreadsheet of every single process that we work on. We kind of just did this huge brain dump, and we said, F it, this is what we do in our business, and we have it just written down somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then over time, it kind of just morphed into, oh, well, I'm doing this, are you doing this? And you probably shouldn't do that, and yada, yada, yada. Between the groups, our coaches, and, whether past, present, or future coaches, and the Facebook groups, that's another wealth of information.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
but I feel like, like you said, I've learned more having that monthly meeting with you all, and just, shooting the breeze, and having, MJ just casually walk in the background.
Yeah. No, those are valuable. So really, yeah, I think that I thank you for those. I think
No problem.
participating and being part of that, and for helping me to grow. You
Yeah,
really.
I'm always willing to work with other people, and even with me and my colleagues, we have weekly, bi-weekly meetings. I'm always willing to work and kind of just collaborate to see how we can make things better, whether it's for a client or whether it's for ourselves. So with that said, I thank you for being here today, and hopefully we can have a 4-table chat one day. With me, Star, and Pam. I told Pam about it, and she was like, "That'd be nice." So
That would be awesome.
yeah,
Yes,
I think great. So. Yeah.
That should be an interesting one.
It should be an interesting one. I'm kind of thinking, it'd be nice to have, some people kind of send in some questions about family law matters, since all 4 of us practice family law. There's a lot of thoughts going on in this head, but we'll be in touch, and I'll talk to you at our next meeting.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me.
No problem. And Bonnie, I just have to ask you one more question. If anyone wants to find you, if a client wants to find you, what is the best way to reach you?
I mean, you can always call the office, 702-998-1188, or go to the website at www.ljlawlb.com.
All right, fancy enough, but short and sweet. Thank
Uh-huh.
you again, Bonnie. It's a pleasure. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in to episode 3 of the Daily Podcast. I am beyond blessed to be here today, and I hope everyone is well. And please stay safe. Take care. Bye.
Bye.